Hello and welcome to another edition of Behind the Scenes with me, sports photographer who takes you with me to show you some of the things that I get up to, things that go wrong, things that go right, and the fun we had. Let's get into it. This time we're looking at the Maluti Double 90 cycle race, which is a 180k race that is centered around the town of Clarens in the Free State. And for me as a photographer, it's quite a schlep to get there. It's a 2-hour flight up to Johannesburg and a 4-hour drive in a hired car down to the town of Clarens. So straight up is this one back of a rider's head with the battle braid in place and the event sponsor front and center being Cannondale. Always shoot the event sponsors. They're the people who pay the bills. Pay my bills, certainly. Then still with the event sponsor, but showing the teams because it's a team event, very much like the double century that's held here in Cape Town every year. And Clarens is a beautiful town, by the way. You really should give it a go. There's lots of arts and coffee shops and guest houses. Every second house is bed and breakfast there. Little puppy, always shoot the cute things, and a puppy's certainly cute, this one particularly, so the riders in the background getting ready to go, and the lady coming down to spectate with her little border collie, and then on to the ride. And first thing to be said here is this was an exceptionally wet race. It was bucketing down for half of the day, and then bucketed down for the other half as well. So you'll see some of the images show the rain and what we went through. But this is first action shot of the day. Coming up out of Clarens, you turn left, go towards the town of Bethlehem in the Free State. Team shot, come up the hill, gently riding, nice, still and fresh, and smiling, and in their peloton. These are the riders still just leaving Clarens. You'll see the beautiful sandstone cliffs that surround the town and the local areas. It's all part of the Golden Gate Highlands National Park. And the race goes straight through it. Spends about 35 to 40 kilometers of its entire route within bounds of the park. Just another team shot, all wearing matching kit. Here's some more of those mountains. You can see they go for miles in the background, but the clouds and the sky and the rain are hiding the view a little bit in the back. This was my transport for the day. First time since I was a 7-year-old kid that I've been in a sidecar.
Are you ready for your trip around Chapman's Peak?
Yeah, but it's going to be the best. We've got a bar in here. We've got a gin and tonic. Ready. I'm ready to leave.
Shot of a tandem. Put that one in here because again you'll see it's a Cannondale, and Cannondale is the sponsor of the event. So let's give them all the coverage they can get. Okay, MTN sponsored team. I like the colours, bright yellow. They blended nicely with the colour of the Free State grass on the side of the road. Long road ahead. I think this photograph shows it. Don't always have to have the riders front and centre. They can be a way off in the background, just showing what the landscape looks like and how they fit into it. These are beautiful cosmos flowers. They line the route outside Clarens on the way up to Bethlehem. And beginning of April, they were out a little bit late this year. Absolutely stunning though, so I took quite a few shots of those. Just a different view through the cosmos. Makes a totally different photograph, but it's from exactly the same place. And again, exactly the same place. A third photograph that doesn't look anything like the other two that I took at the spot. It's all to do with your position, and this is the one and only bridge that the riders go over during the race, and it's a pretty place with a lovely still stream that goes underneath. And the weeping willows frame the riders as they come underneath, so it'd be very remiss of me if I didn't take their photograph when they were there. Another view of the bridge. I have no idea what river it is. I'm sure there's a signpost somewhere that tells me, but I didn't see it. But it's very quiet and tranquil. Because of South Africa's stupid drone laws, I had to climb a tree to take this photo, but well worth the effort to get up there. Another close-up of the rider in the front of the peloton with the guys behind him shooting at f2.8. They all blur, and it brings the guy in the front into the foreground and into focus, so your eyes are drawn towards him. Now the peloton shot with the trees going up into the mountains above. There's also still just outside Clarens. I mean, we've hardly even got started and we've got so many photographs already. It's pretty up there. I enjoy how this rider saw me on the side of the road and decided to interact with me. There's a whole team there looking resplendent in matching kit. This was the major halfway stop in the small little Free State town of Cannondale. And there was a neutral zone here where they could stop, get off the bikes for half an hour, totally untimed, relax, chill. Well, very much chilling in this case because it rained so much and the wind chill was so high that they were shivering and freezing when they got there. Coffee was the order of the day. There's a few shots around Cannondale. If you put on a dry shirt, you're going to need the number transferred, and this is what's happening here. everybody pitching in to make it happen. Here obviously is the rain that had fallen and puddled and gone into the drain just behind the gazebo, making everyone's life a bit of a misery. I like the shot with the wheel in the puddle and a small little kiddie's bike in the background, just for a little bit of amusement. And I'm going to give you a trigger warning now. The next photograph is not pretty. If you're offended by carbon fiber bicycles laid on the curb, then you don't want to look at this one. And I go 3, 2, 1. That's enough. Okay, we don't want to see that. Here, how's that for a happy smiling face? Warm blanket on, warm fleece, trying to warm up before they head out to the second half of the route. One of the riders hiding in the hotel's foyer, just outside, trying to get some nutrition and some warmth into him, a dustbin bag. Not a bad plan to keep the rain off. Obviously, he's ridden in Cape Town before. This is the main entranceway of the Cannondale Hotel, and they were very helpful and accommodating to the riders and trying to get them warm and serving coffee at a moment's notice. It's a pretty little hotel. I encourage you to go there. Another Cannondale shot. Sponsors race, sponsors bike. This is an Irishman I met. He was riding, and he figured it wasn't cold at all, and he was keen to get cracking again. All you need is a scarf, apparently. Just a scarf. Off out of Cannondale, going up towards the Golden Gate Highlands National Park, and you can see from the skies the storms that are still hiding up there. There's thunder, there's lightning, there's all sorts of loveliness up there. From an editing point of view, it's very easy to go overboard on those clouds and add too much contrast and too much dehaze, but in a year's time you're going to look at that photograph and hate it. So less is definitely a little bit more here, rather make the photo viewable. I like these shots where the stronger riders are allowing the less strong riders to hang on and catch a toe, and then it's to the benefit of the good of the team, and they all go a whole lot faster. Those are the mountains. The other side of those mountains, just 10 kilometers away, is Lesotho. So you get an idea of how high we were and how chilly it could be when the rains came down. And this is me being a bit of a dick, but if there's a guy there on the side of the road all in his own sim with beautiful views and he's got a puncture, I'm going to photograph it. I'm not being a dick on purpose, but it makes a great shot and tells a story. You'll see here the bike marshals from Think Bike, who came up from Cape Town and down from Johannesburg for the race. If you're a bike rider and you're looking for something to do on weekends, you could do worse than joining the Think Bike crew. They'll train you. In fact, you get some great training, skills training, and training on how to handle traffic and marshal bike races. So I'd encourage you to join them. This is Az Hendry. He's the leader of the pack with the Think Bike crew in Cape Town. And he's leading out that same team we saw earlier, doing the push-pull. If this photo doesn't remind you of a herd of elephants all walking along holding trunks to tail, then it will after I show you this photograph. Happy faces still, probably 120 kilometers down, firmly inside the park now. There's lots of open savanna and plains on either side, and it's just beautiful, particularly in the light when the skies are overcast and the light is beautifully soft and diffused and the colors all come out and get lots of contrast. A couple of the local wild horses. These are the small horses that the Basotho people of Lesotho are quite famous for riding. Long view with a couple of cyclists. I enjoy this shot. I actually prefer these shots to close-up shots of the bikes. It's that old thing. You place the rider in the environment they're in and try and show you what they're going through. And this should also inspire those riders who've never ridden this race to go and do it next year, because it really is this beautiful. Similar view, further down the road, mountains in the background, pelotons coming over the hill. Doesn't that make you want to go ride? But it does give you the vibe of the pen and the speed that they're going. There's a shot shooting through the long grass, which gives you a little bit of foreground interest before your eyes settle on the rider. Give you an idea of how they're riding together. And the same shot from the side, a totally different shot from exactly the same place. Here I've moved forward 1.5 meters, stood up, and again, totally different shot from exactly the same place. And again, back onto the road, shoot low. I haven't moved more than 0.5 meter in the last 5 photographs, but none of those photos look the same. And it's a game I try to play, where I'll stand in one spot and try and get 5 photos that look completely different. And this was 4, I think, so we've got another one coming, hopefully. Yes, we do. There we go, with a little Basotho horse, giving the cute factor. So that's 5 shots, same place. Now we start going up the really steep hill. You'll see in one of the following shots, I shoot from the top and you'll get an idea of just how steep it is and how beautiful it is. That's the one, that's the pass. So they've come from the far distance way over here where the mouse is and come along and down and up. Absolutely stunning place. When I first got to the top of the hill and walked over the ridge to see that view, it genuinely took my breath away. which doesn't happen too often. But I just stood there and said, wow. Slightly zoomed in shot of that hill, riders cycling up. Again, a different viewpoint, a little bit further down the hill from the previous one. I'm walking on foot now, having left the motorbike at the top. It's the only problem with the sidecar. You can't park it on the side of the road. It's just too wide. It blocks it. But it's its only drawback. Otherwise, I loved it. A couple of riders, big smiles, both from the same team, and powering up the hill. This is the kind of photo I enjoy, with the rider standing up out of the saddle, dancing on the pedals, as they say, coming up the hill. Finish of the King of the Mountain, or the Queen of the Mountain. For those aren't familiar with that, it's a timed section from the top to the bottom, and this is where it finished, and the fastest one up gets the Queen of the Mountain or King of the Mountain. These are rangers from St. Parks who set up a water station at the top of the hill and manned it. They had some Coke water, lovely banana bread. Always one of the traditions of this race is these the local Basotho ladies who sing and dance. Shame it was a little bit cold for them this year, but they're in their traditional dress, and they sing beautifully, and they look lovely. And you'll see them at the finish line as well. Some of the banana bread, just showing you the delectations on offer at the water point. This now is the finish line. We've come all the way down to the finish because it started pouring with rain again, and it was impossible to use cameras and expensive electronic equipment in that weather. So we thought we'd come here. The Basotho ladies making a lovely sight at the finish. Umbrellas, spectators, and a sting in the tail because there's a hill that comes from the bottom where they turn left into Clarens right up to the finish line. A little bit nasty, but it's great to watch. A feeling of elation through the spectators. Everyone's happy now. The Basotho ladies singing and dancing and cheering and entering into the spirit of the thing. Who doesn't love a puppy? Always look for something different, you find it. High fives. Finish of the race. Happy smiles. And again, Cannondale, the main sponsor. This is the finish area. They've finished the race already. They've gone across the timing beams. And they're going up here to the race village where they'll get the medals and Coke and sit and relax and go to the local restaurants and cafes for pizza and foods. 2 Cannondale riders holding up their bikes. Sponsors will like that. There's one of the local cafes, undercover, eating some food. Then it's media time. My mate Jean on the video camera. And a lovely interview with this woman who was very gregarious and outgoing and extrovert of note. Here again from the other side, but focus on Jean and not on her. The obligatory medal photograph. Cannondale twice in that photograph. Everyone's happy. Sponsors are happy. I'm happy. Then into the hotel. Quickly change clothes because I was soaking wet from the rain. And shoot from the foyer of the hotel out through some of the furniture there to catch the ladies at the finish line and the riders crossing it. Final few photos. Try and get the spectators to show to the riders and the potential sponsors for the future how popular the event is, and the riders being cheered on over the finish line. There's a vanity shot for me because one of the photos I took last year, the previous year, that they've used on this massive banner behind the start-finish area, which is where the champagne was shook and the people were doused and the checks and prizes were doled out. Walking back to the hotel, just look for any final shots you can find, like these guys in the watering point who I think were planning to stay there for a couple of hours. They were already quite rowdy when I came past. And that's it. Those are the photos from the Maluti Double 90 in Clarens. If you're a rider from Cape Town or Durban or anywhere else in South Africa, I'd encourage you to go and ride this race because it's predominantly teams from Gauteng that go down, and it really is worth the effort. If they take the effort to go down to the double century, Cape Town and those oaks should take the effort to go up to Clarens and join them. So till next time, please like if you liked, and if you can, try and make the effort to subscribe, because then I'll know that you enjoyed these videos and I'll keep on making them. I'll see you then. Ciao.